Founder of Power Your Research, an academic branding company. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I balance my career as a full time faculty member and run two businesses and raise a child as a single mom. And I think this video is important because it's a little bit different than the rest of my Power Your Research and branding content, but I think it will help people with time management, putting things in perspective. Because one of the objections that I see people have in terms of actually wanting to be a thought leader and public intellectual and, make impact at scale and increase their income, one objection that I see people have is that they're too busy. They don't have enough time. And the thing is, you're always going to be busy. You're going to be busy for the rest of your life. If you're not busy, you're probably dead, right? So, um, you know, I'm going to go through kind of three things or tips, however you want to phrase them, that I use to balance all of these things efficiently and effectively and without running myself into the ground. And for each of these tips that I share, I'm going to try to do two things: give you the mindset shift and then an actual tool that you can use and implement right after this video. So the first one is boundaries, and I'm starting with boundaries because this is the most important. If you don't have specific boundaries set up around your time, you're not going to be able to make everything work. And boundaries comes with a mindset shift, but there are also some tools you can use to establish those boundaries and stick to them. And I could do an entire video, an entire book on setting boundaries, but I'll try to keep this short because I think, at least theoretically, everybody that hears boundaries understands what we are talking about here. But let's say you're running a coaching business like I do with Power Your Research, and you work one on one with your clients like I do. So this is not a group coaching model. You're working one on one with your clients. Well, guess what? You can't work one on one with your clients if you're on their schedule and not yours. So when people want to book their coaching calls with me, they have to do it on my calendar. They have to make themselves available to me. I have over 50 people in the Power Your Research program. I can't be on 50 different people's schedule. So you have to take the emotion out of it and be objective in terms of setting your boundaries. If I want to run my business, I have to have these particular boundaries set up so that I can make it work. So this keeps everything manageable because, in terms of people booking anything on my calendar, whether it's coaching calls or whether it's even like lunch with people, breakfast with people, connecting with different entrepreneurs, they have to book on my calendar because I need to keep everything manageable. It keeps time down, scheduling back and forth. Hey, here's my link. Jump on my calendar. And I particularly use Calendly.com. There's a bunch of tools out there like Calendly, but that's the tool I use. And so I can now balance the things that I do outside of my full time job by having my availability in a way that it doesn't conflict with my classes that I teach as a professor. Now, you also need to set boundaries at work, right? There are a lot of things that people do at work that is extra, that's not under your job description. And for whatever reason, we feel like we have to do those things. And so, your job dynamics are your job dynamics, but boundaries also has to do with just not being taken advantage of at your full-time job. And this is important because the job that you go to is making someone else money. Yes, it is an asset for you because you are being paid, but I find that my two businesses that I run in the long run are going to have far more financial impact and fulfillment for me than the full-time job. And so you make sure you do what you need to do at your time job without being taken advantage of, without saying yes to too many things and setting boundaries around that. So I can go on and on about boundaries, but that I'll stop there with that first tip. The second tip is I have a brand statement. And this might sound like kind of hokey pokey, theoretical, philosophical stuff, but it's not, because the brand statement keeps me focused on the things I say yes to and the things that I say no to. Because if I say yes to too many things that look like opportunities, I will be, I'd be stressed out. I wouldn't even be able to show up here as a lively person if I was saying yes to too many things. So my brand statement keeps me on mission, vision, and purpose. And so when I get opportunities, I can quickly decipher whether it's an opportunity or a distraction. So, for example, I just had someone jump on a free coaching call with me, and they didn't want the full Power Your Research program. They only wanted one piece of it. And I get this a couple times a month, probably. And she said, "Hey, can you just do consulting with me for this particular piece?" And when it comes to Power Your Research and what I'm trying to do with that program, which is to help the maximum number of academics get to a place where they're a public figure and making six figures. When that is my mission and goal for my branding company. And if I'm over here doing a la carte pieces of the program for everybody that asks, then I am off task. That means I'm not moving towards my vision. I'm actually moving further away. And because the program that I have is a tried and true program that will take you from where you are today to being that notable, confident public figure that's making an impact at scale. If I just give it to you a la carte, you're not using the building blocks that I know work, and I can't promise you the results. And so I turn down money all the time, even with my speaking engagements. If I can't drive there or take a train, I'm probably not going to do it unless it's paying me my minimum. And my minimum is very high for me to get on an airplane to go travel to do a speaking engagement at this season in my life. But I have to be committed and feel good about what I'm doing and the things that I'm saying yes to and no to. It's the commitment and consistency that helps me have the balance. And I have routines in place that are daily, monthly, and yearly to make sure that I'm also taking care of myself and just doing things for just me. Because Power Your Research is about doing things for other people. Ghostwriting and writing other people's books is about doing things for other people. Yes, it's helping me in my career goals and I love it. But in terms of building in that self-care, for me, my self-care is built in daily, monthly, and yearly. And that's important. You can't have balance if you're not taking care of your physical, mental health, and if you don't always feel good. And then the third tip that I want to share with you in terms of how to balance all of this is you got to increase your income, because the more money you have, the more you can pay to do away with the inconveniences. So when you increase your speaking engagement rates, when you increase your consulting rates, when you increase the price of your program, when you ask for more money and you ask for that raise at your job, right? When you make more money, you can pay for people to do the laundry, you can pay for people to clean the house, you can pay for the babysitter, you can pay for, right? You can then spend money to do away with all the inconveniences that, quite frankly, are a little bit stressful, are time consuming, right? Are taking up parts of your day and time that could be better spent. It could be better spent you just sitting on the sofa and relaxing as opposed to folding up laundry. So I have no problem with paying the person I pay to wash my clothes and my son's clothes and fold them. And so, you know, when people come to me and they're like, "Hey, Sheena, I want to increase my visibility, authority, and income. I want to join your branding program, but I can't because I don't have time." When people say that to me, I actively have to remember, and I've trained myself to have empathy, because the first thing I think of is, if you're saying you don't have time, you're never going to have time. And that means that the result that you want is just not that important to you right now. But I have to backtrack in my mind to remember that everybody is not like me. Everybody doesn't have the mechanisms and the structure set up the way I have it set up, which is why we start the first part of the program of Power Your Research in that clarity phase, so you can get those things set up. But when I hear people say I don't have time, I just kind of like go into a place where, well, So I got to get my empathy back up when I hear those types of rejections. And so just bringing that to your attention because it's easy for us to stay in our comfort zone, and we have these objections whether to do the work to get the result that we want, whether that objection is time, family, whatever other reason we're using. But just remember that all of those things that you're telling yourself are actually the things that keep you comfortable, because it's a little bit scary to invest in yourself. It's a little bit scary to do the work. It's a little bit scary to change the thing that you're currently doing, even though you might not be happy with all of the aspects of your life. And so hopefully this helps in understanding how I balance my career and run two businesses and pick my son up from school and drop him off nearly every day. I didn't talk about the importance of asking for help and accepting that help. My mom helps me out a lot. So I have a community of people. Um, we'll say that's a bonus tip. Ask for help and be willing to accept it. But I hope this helps somebody out there. Let me know in the comments how you balance your career and being a parent. All right. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Sheena Howard. I'm the founder of Power Your Research, an academic branding company where I help academics and educators increase their visibility, authority, and income without the expense of a publicist. And I hope you